here at the Pennhurst school, and I'm ready to go in.
My name is Donna. I started working at Pennhurst in 1974. I started on this board, so I know about this board 100%. I tell you what every one of the rooms were and who was here. Everybody that was in here on the bottom floor was profoundly retarded. Do not be upset by the word retarded, because when I worked here, they were mentally retarded. There was no special needs. So if I'm talking about the history, it's mentally retarded. It's not as an insult to people. The people on this were here on the first floor were profoundly retarded, and they were in wheelchairs. That's why this was the handicap ward. Upstairs, there were profoundly retarded men also, but they were ambulatory. Everybody was separated in groups according to what your afflictions were, basically, and what degree of mental retardation you had. So every building and every ward would have had groups of people with about the same problems. So, hit the museum first. So you guys, I don't know, for all those that you've been here for a while, it'll be a rerun, but come on in. The first room was actually the office to the back. Not all buildings were built at the same time. So many years ago, way before I started, the pictures on the wooden things are from the 20s and 30s. The pictures in the center are from the 1953 booklet that they issued. But long before I started, they actually did have a lot of orphans, and they had people that were brought here as children. So that's where the children in Pennhurst State School came from. They also had, this was also opened first for epileptics and people that were feeble-minded. So a lot of those were children. And in the day, doctors would recommend if you had a child that was severely deformed or something, that one should go away. You should put that one. So. 10 years. 74, actually, 74 to 85 sounds like 11. I had time off because I messed up my back on this work because I was lifting people in wheelchairs. So I had close to about 6-7 months off, so that just threw me over. I quit in February of 85. So.
And you closed not long after.
Well, they were closing for like 10 years. They didn't just open the doors and throw everybody out. They couldn't. It was closing for close to 10 years. So our census was going down, like daily. So. And both me and my husband worked here. My husband was a nurse. So I shoved you out the door first and said, go find a job, and then I went out because we had a mortgage to pay. Right? So, you guys all ready, or? Anybody have any questions about anything in here?
When did it close?
1987, totally closed. Totally closed.
And when did it open?
It opened in 1908.
1908.
So the building you're in is pretty old. This was actually built in 1919, so it's not 100 years old yet. The other ones are. So. The last couple, start walking down the hall. Okay. When I started here, the back room was a gate room. It was a video room.
This is what I'm talking about. That's the admin building of the main hospitals, that's the K building, the east building, the one here. From 1960, the one behind that is Industry. That one there's Hershey. Franklin is all part of the dietary complex right here. That one's Yogo and Rockwell. And Devon has not been built yet.
Okay.
So You're seeing 1922 right there. This is pretty much, the campus was brand new at that point.
What was the theme of the building names being like, you know, like,
Yeah, just areas around town, you know, everything around here is like a local name, Union, Vincent, we're in Vincent Township right now, so.
oh, they have a building named Vincent?
Yeah, well, it's
Oh,
actually
okay, gotcha.
Vincennes, the French.
Yeah, I saw one Philadelphia.
That's Philadelphia right there, that was the original admin building. That was at the very end, was Union, that was the old blacksmith shop back there. This is laundry and storeroom, and this was the hospital, Whitman 1 and Whitman 2.
So what was the maximum capacity?
At one point in the late 70s, they had about 10,000 people living here.
Wow, 10,000. I mean, that's
That's way too much.
10,000. Amazing.
You're gonna get to see everything, trust me. That room was a laundry room. That's all it was, laundry room. For you guys that weren't back in here, when I started here, this was a big open room and it was a day room. This is where you would have your television and everybody would be gathered around. When I started, there were 48 manuals. By the time I quit, there was less than 12. But they built the cubicles in here to give people privacy. So that gave you a bedroom area, an area where you could sit. That's what this room was. And if you guys are paranormal interested, they always see a little girl in the back here, so that's where you want to take the pictures.
Instead of having one outside.
Right.
That makes me, I wonder why they were not places in there.
Yeah. Most of them closed. There's still some institutions that are open today, but there's very few.
Okay.
Any questions, anybody? This room originally, where the halls were, there were walls, and then two doorways, and this went way back. We're gonna go back right there, anyway, but so you went way back, and it was the old dormitory style hospital bench. In the 10 years that I was here, we saw a lot of changes because everything was always improving. When I first started working here, everybody just in state clothes, where you all had the same pants, the same t-shirts, girls who wear the same dresses. Through the years, they got private clothing, they had private sheets on the beds, they all had a little closet like that one over there, and they had a fan and a chair. And that they were, they were improving. Because at one time, it was more like custodial care, you know? And that's the way all institutions were, it wasn't just Pennhurst. We're very lucky to we're able to care, seriously.
The graffiti here, is that just a result of vandals coming in here?
That's all vandalism. There were there's still leftover curtains on the walls. We had curtains on the walls. Everything was freshly painted. It was all the same kind of green color. You know, we call it institutional green. But everything was shiny, brand spanking new. There was, like I said, it was well cared for. There were no dirty chairs like that or anything like that. We were the top institution because we were in the news. So we got most of the funding. Seriously, you know how the government works. We got the funding because we were...
Was this the only one in eastern Pennsylvania, or was there other ones?
No, if you would have looked in the museum, there is a map there of Pennsylvania that had all the institutions. But Pennhurst was the second institution to open. Hope was the first, then Pennhurst. And Pennhurst got quickly overcrowded. Actually, when we closed, there was a 900-person waiting list to get in here. See, at one time, you know, you're thinking in today's standards, you have group homes, you have community-based things. People are able to keep their children home because now you have programs and you have state assistance and federal. You know, before you had nothing. You know, it was home or an institution. So that was your choices.
So each kid each child that came here, how much did it cost the state per child? You know, like the cost?
No, I couldn't tell you through the years. I know if you watch Baldini, you can go and watch that stuff for the children. He said how much it was per person. When I was working here, that wasn't something we were privy to. You know, we were aides. Our title was mental retardation aid 1. That was our state title. So we came in and we worked here. You also didn't go wandering. You know, they had their privacy. You weren't allowed to just go, oh, I'm going to go over to Quaker Hall and go see people. You just couldn't do that. Ruth and I worked cat corner across from each other. Never met till dawn. So that's, you know, if you were assigned to this ward, you stayed on this ward. If you had an overabundance of aides, and they needed help in another unit, they would pull you to that unit and you'd work that needed that day. But you just couldn't go wander back there again. You know, it just was the way it was. And you know, it sounds funny because I was here for 10 years, but there was places that I wasn't in. Because you didn't get pulled there, so you didn't go there. That was just the way it was. So, that's already goes.
Was there instances where children would just wander off and just leave the property? Like just... The brighter people, as they call them, were allowed to go. They were allowed to go. I mean, everybody was allowed to go. It wasn't like it was a jail. Mm-hmm. So they could go. This ward wasn't a locked ward. The only wards that were locked were ones that they thought they'd either do damage to themselves or to other people. And these people were very docile. So this was that like a court order that had to put them in that particular?
Some people were court committed. Some people were committed by the doctors, and other people were brought here by their parents. There were also, I worked with an older aide. I was 19 when I started. She was near retirement. She told me it was nothing unusual to go over towards the administration building and see somebody sitting on the steps, because that's the only way they could cut through their red tape and get them here. You just drive in, drop them off, keep going. So that actually happened. Yeah. So, you guys ready to go to the next one? You're gonna go right through that door out there. On some of the cubicles, they still have the names of people that were in these. They started renovating it.
Phantom is a learn to spell. FHS. Whatever that stands for. FHS.
When I started, everybody called buildings by letters. And I haven't had a call in one because this is our letter. They actually they had names. People started calling by the letters.
Oh, wow.
And then they moved back to calling by the names. So when we started, everybody called them by names. So I'm always talking about Q or M, and she talks about Quaker and Mayflower.
Cubicles. Wow, creepy. Definitely creepy.
Take a picture of my butt.
I'm trying to. Wow, that's a good pic. You're okay. Definitely some kids use these lockers. Just think about 25, 30 years ago, children were sitting on these seats. When the children were here, did they have access to like electronics? Like, could they watch TV or?
Yeah, there were TVs.
There were TVs. And So, like a TV, like in a day room, or each cubicle
Yeah,
had.
it'd just be a day room, TV.
And they had recreation. Like, yeah, they could.
There was a gymnasium, physical therapy, baseball diamond down in the lower lot. There was basketball courts, there's a pool out back.
Oh, they had a pool.
Yeah, you'll see that.
I bet you that pool was full, huh?
Imagine a warm day, yeah.
You weren't here then? No. Okay.
No, my grandfather was.
Your grandfather? Is he still alive?
No,
No. I'm sorry to hear that.
he was one of the dentists.
Oh, he was a dentist here?
He worked here from 1928 to 1958.
30 years.
Pictures on the downstairs in the museum.
Did he live in the area, or did he have
I lived
to?
in Spring City.
Oh, okay. So did most of the employees here live in the?
Yeah, you got to be kind of local.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
much in the way of public transportation or anything.
Not back then
Well,
either.
you could go down to Lawyerford, there was a train that came up here,
Mm-hmm.
but it was a supply train, so if you were going to hitch the supply train, you were probably going to be sitting in the cargo.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything fancy. Now, back in the early day, they actually had a train that came out here from the city on weekends.
Just specifically to transport people.
Not to transport, but to bring people out to visit.
Now, were the children allowed to go home on weekends, like furloughs and kind
It
of?
depends on what condition they were in.
Okay.
Very few people were actually stuck here. With their
Yeah, she emphasized that there was a couple buildings specifically on a lockdown type deal, probably for children that are imminent danger to themselves or others, kind of deal. I guess they would have to get a court order for that.
This is not something I say, I'll go out there and have a good time and go to the view store. Yeah, you had a lot of loving, caring aides. When I first started downstairs, all we had was what they called Pennhurst soap. And it was horrible. It actually had no smell, and our guys did. They were not toilet trained. So the whole group of aides got together, all of us would decide
Bathrooms.
whose turn it was to go by.
This is the
Safety
bathrooms.
guard, Irish
This is where the
brand,
children use the
regular
bathroom.
shampoo, and aftershave for our guys. And we bought that all out of our own pockets. It wasn't state funded. So that's the way it was. Do you guys want to take pictures of the dining room? Yeah. We're on the front. I was going to back it
Oh, by the way, I'm kind of doing still shots of my face shots of my face, not because I'm like idolizing myself, but I just want to take still shots in the course of filming, so I can screenshot pictures of myself. So it's not, you understand the point, hopefully. Because I'm sure some of you people are going to wonder why I keep looking at myself in the camera while I'm in the facility, but obviously it's for a reason, because I like to take still shots of myself. But the creepy graffiti, man, there's a lot of symbolism inside this building. There's a lot of interesting graffiti. I don't know if it's just kids after the fact or they're actually sending some sort of subliminal messaging and whatnot, but it's interesting. And as the tour guide emphasized, that this place was actually sparkling and the walls were actually painted, and you can see over the course of history that the vandals came in here and kind of goofed off, spray painted to face this property, but still interesting. Shelves.
What was the library? Pretty much the same thing as this, was a little bit larger facility, it's down around the,
Oh, wow.
library was a Howard State Hospital. Yeah, the Army stores will come up there, there's a little bit of competition between people in storage here. Storage library, everybody's like, oh, that's always better than this one. Really, they look from there and doors.
Look at the old radiators back then. That was the way to keep children warm, with the radiators. This looks like plexiglass. Interesting. Still have a few more questions. Now, I noticed the radiators here. Was that what they used?
That was the heat.
That was the heat. I mean, was
This
it?
facility was almost completely self-contained. There's a powerhouse just down the hill. They took in about 180,000 tons of coal a year. They made their own electric, and then they pumped heated glycol up to the buildings here, and then there was heat exchangers in the basement so to make the heat and provide hot water.
And that didn't cost the state a lot. Money
All you
to.
had to do was buy coal and build a power plant. I mean, it was completely self-contained. They had gardens everywhere. There was a huge farm complex. They had a dairy farm, a chicken farm.
Oh, really? So they were self-sufficient with their food, more or less.
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow. So actually, probably the kids were probably eating good.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Eating good.
And there's a list of everything they went through in 1954 downstairs in one of the museum displays.
Really?
And it's like 1,800 tons of turnips, 4,500 tons of potatoes.
Did the kids manage the farms or themselves? Like,
yeah.
did they send some kids out there to?
Yeah, if you were
children?
ambulatory and able to take direction, yeah, that's what you ended up doing. This was a school. It wasn't like a lockdown.
Yeah.
More or less a warehouse, but it was a school. They wanted to teach us something that you could do.
So was this like state regulated curriculum for the children?
I
Like,
don't think they really had a curriculum. They just had, you fell into a job and you were good at it, that's what you ended up doing.
interesting. Very, very interesting. Going down these steps. Watch your step. Interesting. All right. Well, this was the tour that I received. This building is called what? The Mayflower building. And this was one of the main buildings
Yes,
used.
it was completed in 1919.
1919. This concludes the tour of the Mayflower here at Pennhurst. That was a wonderful tour, and signing off, I hope you individuals got good, necessary information. For the individuals that never get a chance to come out here, there you go.
Mayflower experience. I'll tell you a little bit more about the buildings. The building across from me was Philadelphia Building, and that was a temporary administration building because that one hadn't been completed yet. So this one, Quaker Hall, which is diagonal across from us, and Tinicum were the first three to actually open. That one was supposed to be a school building, but they had so big influx of people that it ended up being housing.
Was there any instances where fires were in the building at any time during the course of the?
Anytime there was fires set here was when the vandals set the fires, and that was long after it was closed. We had regular fire drills. We were trained in fire in case there was a fire start. All that stuff came through with your training. Every year we had to go through it, every single year, along with your CPR and everything else. Any questions? You guys are quiet.
Well, here you go. I'm going to sound off right before 30 minutes, and I'll start a new one here at Pennhurst.